Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Cloverly Academy. My name is Sophia Wardell, and today we have a very special guest, children's author Ed Morykwas. Ed Morykwas is a former English major and aspiring poet from UCLA who taught language arts for 23 years. Ed is the author of Aurora and the Whispering Jewels, a South Pole Christmas story. Ed is also a professional photographer and the original creator of the famous birthdays website. Thanks for joining us today, Ed.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Sure, we're super excited to talk about writing children's books with you today.
Good.
So, first, I want to start off with asking you about inspiration. So, how did you come up with the concept for your main character, and what advice would you give an aspiring children's author for creating a character that feels both magical but also relatable to children?
Okay. This is a great story. My granddaughter was 7 years old at the time. She and I have a very close relationship, and we like to hang out and just go different places. So in January, we were at the zoo, at the Detroit Zoo, and we were walking around, and the workers were taking down all the holiday lights and decorations because Christmas was over.
Right.
And we got to talking about what if there was somebody at the South Pole who was kind of like Santa at the North Pole? And she thought that was a pretty cool idea. She's a very bright little girl and inquisitive. So we kept kicking that around. And I said, well, this would be Santa's polar opposite. And she said, yeah, that's right. But don't make it an evil villain like the Grinch, okay? Like a good Santa and evil something at the South Pole. Make it a nice character. In fact, make it a woman, because, we're into girls. And don't make her a princess, make her a scientist. And
Oh,
somehow or other, she has a magical ability. This evolved over several conversations. She had a magical ability, but she didn't realize it yet. And it took some intervention from the North Pole to bring that out. And so that's where the story came from. I stole it from my granddaughter.
oh, that's great. Children can be used as such inspiration, their imaginations. They haven't been necessarily put inside the box yet of society and everything. So
Right.
it's great advice for an author. And
Yeah.
I want to know a little bit more about themes. So when you are writing for children, how do you strike the right balance between telling an entertaining story and weaving in important themes like curiosity, science, or spreading joy?
Well, I was a teacher for 23 years in elementary school. And so I know pretty well what kids like and respond to. And they really don't like things that are a little too obviously preachy,
Mm,
like, oh, the moral of this story is. So the message, if there's a message, it has to come organically from the plot, from the characters. It just grows out of that. And a good example, again, she was over at our house the other night, and I read to her. Do you know the book, The Giving Tree, Shel
mhm.
Silverstein? I read The Giving Tree. She'd never heard of it before. And that book has a really strong message about love and caring and sacrifice. And it's kind of sad as you go through the book because this poor tree loses all her parts, but she's still happy because she's helping the boy. And so that's a perfect example to me of a message that comes through naturally through the story.
Right. It's very subtle, but it's very powerful and it's
Mm-hmm.
played very well with the characters. And on the note of creating a timeless holiday story, you've mentioned that your novel has the potential to become a holiday TV special. What elements do you think make a story timeless, and how can an author infuse that kind of lasting magic into their writing?
Well, I've always loved those old holiday specials that they show on TV, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, uh, Frosty the Snowman, Charlie Brown and the Sad Little Christmas Tree, and even the Grinch and Scrooge. And there's a lot of, holiday classics out there. But here's the thing that we realize, Sophia, those are all male characters. There
Mm,
isn't one story about one female in there.
mm.
And I'm hoping that that hook will interest somebody that's an animator or a producer to say, yeah, not a bad idea. Let's tell the story of Aurora. Let's make her another character in the Santa Claus universe. And so hopefully that will take off. Who knows? I don't know any animators or producers, but I think it does have some possibilities.
I think that's a great point where you have a huge female children market where
Mhm.
you want some more, not necessarily, not every book has to be about a princess. It could be about a
Right,
female scientist. So,
right,
kind of opening that niche genre,
right.
that's a great idea.
Good.
And for just some closing advice for authors, what would you say is the most valuable lesson you've learned from writing and publishing your children's book that you think every author should know?
The most important thing that I learned in this journey is give yourself enough time. And by that, I'm talking about when you're dealing with Amazon or you're dealing with Audible, make sure you get a good head start because my experience was I'm trying to bundle the audiobook plus the printed book so that parents can sit with their child or grandparents and read the pages and listen to the story, which is performed by a group of actors. I uploaded my book to Audible on November 9th, and they said, well, it'll take 10 days for it to be reviewed. Well, all right, that's November 19th. I'm still okay for Christmas. It took 17 days, not 10 days. And then my problem was that the little box up in the corner of the Amazon screen didn't appear. So you saw, here's the book, here's the paperback, here's the hardcover, here's the Kindle version, where's the audiobook? So
Mm.
I was encouraging people to buy the audiobook. And even with the best of intentions, they would go, how am I supposed to do that? I can't even see it on the screen. If I had allowed myself another extra month to have it work through the system, everything would have been golden. So that's my advice to authors. Give yourself enough time. If you plan to publish, it takes longer than you expect.
Well, thank you so much, Ed. That was wonderful insight on writing children's books.
Thank you.
Lastly, where can our listeners find and connect with you?
Oh, my book has a website with all the information and pictures and everything. It's called southpolechristmas.net.
That's all the time we have for today. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to today's interview with children's author Ed Morykwas. Be sure to check out our website for more videos. Wishing you all a fulfilling and successful writing journey.